going to jump onto another pre-submitted question that we got actually from Aaron Harper here. Talking of 2025, of the 2025 F2 graduates, who will win a race first? Now, I'll offer this out to anyone, but I'll start with George, I guess.
So we've got Jack Doohan, we've got Kimi Antonelli, we've got Ollie Behrman. There's one more. Who's the other one?
Bortoletto.
Real Bortoletto, of course. So it's thinking about because these are some seriously talented drivers, but it's also thinking about the cars that they will likely have. Jack Doohan's in an Alpine, so no chance. Ollie Behrman at first will be in a Haas, so it's unlikely. He could go to Ferrari, and it's probably when Lewis leaves, and that's going to be 27 at the earliest. I think he'll probably stay longer, to be honest. I think he'll be around for longer, especially if that Ferrari's competitive. So it's difficult to see Behrman winning a race anytime soon. Antonelli, I think it's going to take him a little bit to get up to speed, obviously. And he's got Mercedes, and Mercedes, when that regulation change comes in 26, I think he's got a good chance. So, and Bortoletto, I mean, again, it's like, how does he get into McLaren? How does he get into McLaren? It could well be at Audi in 26, and he could well have one of the best cars on the grid. That is a scenario that could happen. So for me, it's between Bortoletto and Antonelli, and I'll go relatively safe and go with Antonelli. I think if Mercedes produce one of the best cars on the grid in 26, he could well win a race.
Yeah, obviously, they're joining the teams that aren't necessarily the ones that are going to be challenging for the wins. Oh, straight off the bat, at the very least, like that Mercedes doesn't really look to be in the picture too much for the start of 2025. But Louis, what do you think, of the four rookies that we've got joined? I say rookies because Behrman is no longer a rookie because he's done three races. But of the F2 graduates, who do you think's more likely? Do you agree with George?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think we've got like the strong. It's been a while since we've had such a good sort of like group of rookies come through. Like 2019 was kind of like the last time we've actually had like a good solid group of rookies, come in. We only get like maybe like the odd one or two sort of rookies come here and there. I mean, we had the Schumacher, Mazepin, and then Joe came in, but
A whole heap of talent, I think you'll
oh,
agree.
so much talent. They're so good that all of them are not going to be on the grid next year. But I honestly probably think it's going to be Antonelli. We've Mercedes have this weird ability to just hit the ground running at random point in the season, like make the most of it, and then just fall off this cliff, which they're kind of doing at the moment. They like absolutely hit, they were kind of nowhere at the beginning, then absolutely stormed through, won a few races, and then they've kind of fiddled off as now Red Bull and Ferrari and McLaren have taken center stage. But I think Antonelli definitely has the best chance. I mean, that Sauber next year is gonna. Let's face it. I don't think there's gonna be any investment in that Sauber again next year. So he's gonna be driving an absolute pig at the back of the back of the grid. I don't think there's anything that's gonna get him near the front next year. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Bortoleto will be associated with McLaren after this move to after this Sauber. I don't. I might be completely wrong on that, but I don't think he's a part of the McLaren system. I think he is now very much with Audi because Mattia Binotto absolutely loves him. So I definitely think he will be sticking around at Audi. But my answer is Kimi Antonelli, by the way. Sorry,
I'm gonna be
wait,
dead
please.
boring, but I'll be honest with you. It's like the thing with Mercedes is, and I'm framing it that way very particularly, is because, as you say, they sometimes really get it so right. When everything's working for them, and other times they get it so wrong. But of the teams that we're talking about, unless I'm not anticipating a massive fall off like we've seen from Mercedes, and it's unlikely, I think, in 2025 at least, that we'll see sort of some a great resurgence from either Alpine, Sauber, or Haas. Haas is probably the most performant of the three that aren't Mercedes. But the thing about, like, if we're talking about 2025, then it's got to be a 20. Then it's there's a non insignificant chance that Antonelli gets a win through a slightly crazy race, or Mercedes get hitting the ball running and just acing the weekend, and him being slightly better on his side of the garage. I think when it comes to 2026, it's a bit more up in the air, but I still think Mercedes just slightly have the edge on car performance. So I think it's still Antonelli that's gonna be able to do well out of that. So I have to go Antonelli, honestly.